Wait, hold on. We hear the song. I know everyone's out here jamming. We having a good time. Everybody, welcome to Friday's edition of Thumb Stop Live. If you don't know, now you know. We are essentially streaming every single Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. Eastern to 1 p.m. Eastern. All the good vibes are coming. All of the community members we know and love are here. And you'll want to be sure to tap in. So check us out at ThumbstopLive on Twitter. We're also streaming across like LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube Live. We're a bunch of different places, y'all. So tap in. But today, I am freaking excited. Got a couple of my guys joining us. Different times, of course. We got a couple of my guys joining us. We got Rahul joining us. We got Brad joining us a little bit later. These are people who I've known honestly for a really long time now. Like it was closer to when I started at Motion. We first got introduced, and being able to like bring these guys on stage first, full circle moments, like everyone's growing. This is such a cool moment. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome this guy to the stage. Hey. Shout out my boy Rahul. Hey,
how's it going?
It's dude, good, man.
This intro is sick. I'm loving this. This I felt like I was walking onto a stage. I was ready to like start singing or some shit. Like it was.
Yo, we gotta bust out the karaoke mics next time, and we're just like auto tuning together. We're like, all right, how's it going?
Dude, I've never had a walkout like that. That was fire. I like that.
Ah, man, thanks. I love it. Where are you at in the world right now?
I'm in New York right now. We're at a WeWork. The whole team's in right now. And yeah, just like honestly far out, just busy traveling. Been in New York for like 2 weeks, and then I'm here for like another week, and then off to Vancouver. I messaged you about that. Yeah. And we literally have like 5 suitcases with us, like my wife and I, and we're like shit, like packing up our whole life, moving there for like the next couple of years. And yeah, it's going to be good just to be on the side of the world for a little bit, like closer to clients, closer to the team. It's going to be much better.
Oh yeah, man, this is insane. This is super insane. So I want to get into like all that in the travel journey because I feel like I talked to you. You're all over the world.
Yeah.
For everyone who's tuning in, I think the right way to start off is with a quick tell us about yourself, about your work experience, what you're known for. Honestly, anything you're willing to share, and then we'll take it from there, man.
Yeah, dude. So I got into the e-commerce space like, let's call it like 6 or 7 years ago. I was originally a software developer. And
yo, I didn't know that. What the hell?
Tech guy, natural Indian. And then from there, there was basically I pitched like an idea for like a device I wanted to build. It got rejected, and then I was like, fuck it, I'll just build it myself. So that's kind of how I got that like entrepreneur kick, I guess you could call it. And then from there, navigated from tech to like drop shipping. I thought a lot of my friends were in fashion. So I was like, this is a great idea to build an apparel brand. Horrible idea. Do not build an apparel brand. It is so difficult. Like the refund rate alone is like 30 to 40%. It is ridiculous. Everyone thinks they're like a small or medium, but they're actually like a double XL or a large. So it just, yeah, it is so bad. And that failed quickly. Then the next store did really well. So a lot of it was like drop shipping to start with, just because of low funds. And back then it was like, let's just move items quickly. So like I was able to like start scaling it to like 10,000, 12,000 a day. And at that point in New Zealand, they didn't really approve me for credit cards. So I was like literally like the cash flow was very tricky. Then for that brand, my supplier in China actually ended up bailing on me. So we sent them like 100K PO for the next PO because we moved away from drop shipping, and then the guy that just disappeared. Gone. Yeah. So I lost 100K, lost the ad spend for the existing customers, and then also refunded a bunch. So started from scratch again, and then long story short, ended up building 2 other brands and then sold those like a couple of years before I got into the agency side, which was pretty cool. And then now with the Reach team, we kind of started with 3 of us probably 4 years ago. And then now we're a team of 30, which is pretty cool and like actively growing, which is exciting.
Insane, man. I feel like I was saying this in the intro, but I feel like we met around 3 years ago. Like that would have been the first time we tapped in together, right? At that point.
Yeah,
And
that's
it,
right.
and it's,
That's right.
and it's just like, yo, kicking this thing off. Like, we got some people, we're doing it. Like, we have a sick team, but to see 30 people now, man, that is insane.
Yeah,
Congratulations. That is huge.
dude, it is one of the hard. I feel like out of everything I've done in like paid ads, hiring for anyone on our team has been like the hardest thing. Like it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, we have made so many hiring mistakes. It is like that is like the main thing that's like the hardest thing to do. Like people, there'll be all these hiring agencies like, oh yeah, we'll definitely get you someone. Like it'll be sick, and it'll be like 3-4 months, and I'm like, hey, like what's happening? And like, dude, hiring agencies also very difficult to find like a really good one. Um, so yeah, it's been like super back and forth, but that's been like the main challenge for the agency so far.
That makes a lot of sense because like the service is the people need to be great. We have a lot of agency people tuning in who I'm sure can resonate, but like tell
Yeah.
your story. Like basically what the hell was hard about it up front and like what have you learned to make it better?
Dude, it's an ongoing learning curve. Like I would
Word.
not say I'm like a master or like
Sure.
anyone in our team is a master at hiring, but like the main mistakes was like basing everything off purely the CV. We're like, oh, this guy's sick on paper, genius. We hired some guy, paid him like really well. Within 2 months, we got rid of him because it was
Damn.
like we were like on the cusp of churning clients. So it was just very difficult. And from there, we made a couple more mistakes. And then you're just slowly trying to iterate and get it better. Now it's to the point where we're like, fuck it, we're just gonna poach. Hey, we're just gonna poach. We know we're not like an agency that's like, for example, CTC is really good at getting like their knowledge base, and they're able to like train people really well from ground up. And we just want like killers ready to go like from this. So it's like we're not at that position where we want to build like an academy and train people and like grow them. We kind of want people who are like really excited to work with like some really fast growing brands, 7 to 9 figure brands, and they just want to take them to the next level and get paid well to do it. So it's like, to do that we need to poach, because the killers aren't looking up, they're looking down because they're working, right? So it's like, how do we get close to them and get them to look up at us, and then talk to them about like, hey, what do you actually want,
It's so important to have at least your core principles because I think some people root in, okay, I'm going to build this academy. These are the personality traits. And like we take
Yeah.
them through this and this is who they'll be. But like knowing yourself sounds like the right first step. It's like, who do we really want to be here? Technical skill set, and then culturally, and make that shit happen.
Yeah, dude, like building from like that type of like academy mindset where it's like, hey, I'm gonna get like people from college or something like that, or like juniors, and then just gradually develop. That's a lot of strain on like time from seniors, and like resource development, like, or even like documentation and things like that. Like that shit takes a lot of time, and if you're working with like some really big brands, it's hard to allocate time towards those things, so you end up having to hire, or you end up having to sacrifice your own time to build that out. So it's like, what's kind of like the value gain here? Do we just want to get killers and just keep growing, or do we want to like educate and kind of build this for like the next 15 years? So it's like,
100%. It's always that balance. It's just like, if you know the exact type of person you need who's going to kill, then you just need to be able to find them and bring them in, because then you can just maintain. You don't have to dip, because as soon as you bring the academy, you dip. No matter what, you have to dip.
Exactly. And I'm sure it must be the same on your guys' side. Like you guys have grown like insane, and like I'm sure you must be across a lot of like hiring as well. So it's like equally, I don't know if you have any tips, but like equally it must be quite difficult for you.
I went the academy route, man.
Oh, really? That's very interesting.
Because it's so interesting, because when we are, so I oversee like our partnership and sales team.
Uh-huh.
And in our world, we're not really selling in my mind. It's just like,
Okay.
hey, you do creative strategy. Can we just show you how to use our platform then, so you can like live and breathe creative strategy? And I come from the agency side too, like running ads, working with this creative teams, managing clients. So it's like I speak this language. And I didn't love the idea of like a non-technical person talking to people like you. It's like, man, what authority does this person hold?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like to embed that knowledge, it needed to be academy style of like people who had the right attitudes, and then inject them with the knowledge so they can have educated conversation. So it's like, that's the route that I took, but you feel the pain at first before it starts to go.
But then actually, like, it's a lot of like upfront building, and then eventually it just like takes off, which is pretty sick.
That's right.
And yeah, the dividends will get paid eventually, which is cool.
That is right. Yo, so I've done this thing where I've pulled up some of your tweets that I thought were quite interesting. And I'm just like, yo, let's just talk through some of these. Let's see what they're looking like. So the first one that I want to pull up, coming up on a year and a half ago, or maybe more, coming up on 2 years at this point. But this is from October 6th, 2023. In the
Damn.
month of September, we tested over 50 pieces of creative on Facebook ads. Here
Yeah.
are 7 creative concepts that perform the best. And as we scroll through, we get a quick look into what these are looking like.
Yeah. Wow.
And I wanted to know if these are still like crushing or what's going on.
I think the principles are still there. Like it's like I think what's important is like, at least in today's day, a lot of the content has changed a lot. But like these, you'll still see like this type of content in there. It's like direct response ish, fast cuts, problem solution. That's probably across like I would say 85% of accounts already. If you look at anyone's ad library, and then you kind of got like this post-it note style. That's been around for like years, and people are like iterating on it. They'll do like video formations of it, or video versions of it, sorry. And so like people are finding like really good creative styles, and they're just like dragging the shit out of it. They're just like, how long can we like increase the shelf life? And I think that's like the wrong way to think about it. Like I think there's like a mix you should have. Like, yes, increase the shelf life of something that works, but then your account becomes overly dependent on that creative. Like, and when it becomes difficult, like we've had a couple of clients now where it's like one account's so dependent on the founder creative that anything else that gets launched, it doesn't even like break the barrier. Like it's just the algorithm in the account is just like so fixated around, hey, we just want to serve more dollars towards this founder creative. It's like, dude, how many creatives can the founder make? Like, we can't, like, we can't just be like, hey, dude, screw everything else you're doing. You're just going to be head of content. Like, you're just going to like, pump out like 40 ads a week. That's it. That's your only job. There's like, we need differentiation. And I think it's important to like, okay, if something works, like if like this founder creative is really working, make like 10% or 15% of your total ad volume that content. The rest should be focused purely on net new and like finding out new themes, new angles, new visuals that work. So that way the account has like a bit more like refreshing creative, and it's just constantly differentiated. Like the last thing you want is someone pulling up your ad library, scrolling through it, and it all looks the same. Like sea of sameness is kind of like Meta's thing they're saying a lot now, is like, if it's sea of sameness, it's going after the same person, and you're going to keep circling that same audience. So you need to constantly have visual and also differentiated messaging in order to actually go after different people.
Is that a hard conversation to have with brands where it's like, wait, you want me to make things that we don't know if they're going to work? You're telling me not to make more of what's working?
I think the hard conversation to have is if it is definitely a tricky conversation, but I think it's all about education. I think you need to set the stage, and that's where a lot of people will go wrong. They're like, no, we need different content. And it's like, why do we even need to have this discussion right now? Like, set the stage. So when you set the stage actually starts at incremental reach is decreasing. We're actually not reaching net new people. That's the first place where we're actually like having an issue. Then the second place is like, why aren't we reaching the same people? Oh, our content is actually just going around the same audience. Sick. Now reach is down, content is the same. The no-brainer solution is we need new content. Like, you say it to me. I don't have to say it to you. Like,
Right.
I will give you the issues, and then I already know the solution, but I want you to say it to me. So like, I feel like it's a lot of that, a lot of like, setting the stage, and rather than just being like, this is what we need done, like no explanation, no education, because you need to educate them so they can get on board. And because the CEO's job, Sean Frank said this really well a couple of years ago, is like, his job is like, they're operating like a theme park, and he needs to build more rides or something like that. And Connor's job is to operate all those rides, right? So I see the same way. The CEO, and for me to help the CEO continue to build, is like, we need him to provide us more resources so we can continue to like grow this business, right? So that's the same way I look at content and like these types of discussions.
I love that, man. It's also so interesting to me how everything ends up to communication. Like,
Dude, yeah.
like you were saying, you can't just be like, make that thing for me. Like, you gotta tell the story. You gotta take everybody through it, right? So it's like the communication is such an important skill.
Yeah, dude, that's like literally the biggest unlock for me is like coming on the agency side, learning how to communicate, and I'm still trying to get better. Is like, how do I get better at communicate? Because that's 50% of our job. 50% of our job is communication.
Maybe more.
Yeah, maybe more, and it's scary, but it's true. You're in the services industry, so it's like you need to communicate the right things, and you need to know how to actually get your point across. So it's been a massive learning, and I think a lot of founders appreciate that like education, like because they also want to learn. It's not like they just some founders are like, hey, just tell me what to do, and it's like, okay, cool. If that's a relationship, that's chill. Like, make more ads.
For
like,
sure. Something that stands out to me is like internally on our end, we talk a lot about altitudes of conversation. So it's like, where are we? Are we living in the IC right now? Like, make this exact creative, or are we talking about like goals and problem statements we have to address? So it's like making sure that we coach through like, what is the highest level, what is the management level, and then what is the IC level? And like, that's what I'm hearing through like between the lines of being able to like tell that story in its most effective way.
Yeah, because for you guys, it would be like, okay, creative strategists want to use our platform, but are they the ones that actually approve the platform?
You got it.
It's like different stakeholders.
It's like the first thing we're always saying is just like, you want to acquire new customers efficiently, right? And they go, yes. Paid social is a big channel to do that, right? Yes, it is. Okay, then to succeed on paid social, you need amazing creative, right? How do you make amazing creative? You need good data and you need your teams on the same page. Yes, I'm there. Okay, great. So it's just like take it from the highest level to bring it to the IC, which is a similar approach that you described to me. So it makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. That makes sense. I think for you guys, it might be slightly more complex because it's like multiple layers.
Sure.
Have like that one or two layer,
I got you. Okay. I want to pull up another tweet here. And one was a creative strategy tip. Speaking to like fatigue, the creative strategy tip of the week. If you work with a meta rep, then make sure you request this report. Understand both levels of creative fatigue and days to creative fatigue are essential, but creative fatigue score, vertical fatigue percentile, days to medium fatigue, days to high fatigue. Talk us through this report. Are you still using it now? Is it still helpful? Any thoughts you might have?
Yeah, we have navigated away from this slightly. So still using it to like some level, but like again, not everyone has access to this, which kind of sucks. Like Meta doesn't like actively provide this, which is kind of unfortunate. But like a thing we've moved into is like rolling reach and like incremental reach. So like it's basically, you can even do this manually. You don't need the Meta team, but you want to find out how many new people you're like reaching every month. So like one of the main issues, actually, funny enough, we pulled this data across like probably 30, 40 accounts, just like high spending accounts. And the common pain point was December onwards on 2024, incremental reach started to decrease. So like heading into January, basically. And what that means is like every month we're actually not growing the amount of new users we're talking to. So we're essentially like capping off this audience, and the average across a lot of brands are like close to 5% month over month, which is pretty low. And especially if you're spending a lot per month, right? And like this has been a common issue across multiple brands. So that's been the one key report is like we pull is like, hey, can we pull this weekly and can we pull this monthly? Because that will help us tell like we can map it against like a calendar. Like let's say we're trying like different initiatives. Like one initiative could be international expansion. We want to start running creatives to Australia, New Zealand, or UK, right? And that's like such a massive one. Like in that scenario, international expansion is so funny because it's so easy. Like you just literally copy paste your top creators in US and just duplicate it into like another country, right? But then it comes to a point where it's like, okay, sick. I can spend 100K per month in this country, but now I need to hire local creators, because then it's getting to this point where it's like I can't break past efficiency, right? So if I'm like in England, I need to hire some people with like the British accent, right? Otherwise, like hearing like someone from New Zealand or from USA, it's really not going to stick that well. So yeah, that's been like the most important report we've been pulling. Not so much creative fatigue anymore. I think like navigating how we think about creative at growth. Yeah,
huge, man. Huge. Okay. And then one of the last tweets I want to pull up here is I know, again, we've been following each other for a while now, and like personal growth is such a big part of your journey and like taking that seriously.
Yeah, dude.
So one that I pulled up is actually going back to 2022.
Oh wow, damn, you really
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in the archives here.
yeah, you're doing good podcast, damn.
Accountability is such a good idea. And then these are the 3 tips right here: weekly, make monthly reports, write your fantasy story. So I'm curious if you're still doing this, or how you're viewing like managing your own personal growth these days.
Yeah, personal growth has been. That's like a massive one for me. And it's I'm fortunate enough to have like a really good friend group. So like we have this thing where it's like so like every month I'll make like my own goals that are related to specific things, whether it's like agency, personal, or like brand related. We have like a couple, like a brand we're running as well. So it's like we would kind of like have like how I initially started. It was mostly monetary goals, and those were great for the first 2 years that we set that. But then it started to get to a point where it's like you kind of started to get numb to the goal. Like you would hit it and you're like, I want to hit more, and you're kind of going into this endless loop of just like the price is never, or like the money is never enough, and it kind of just keeps increasing, right? So then I changed that to like something more like not really passion, but like qualitative. Like let's say random example, I'm gonna launch like 10 creatives a week. Like like if we make it crazy. So like the qualitative part made it a little bit like less stressful that you're not hitting this like monetary goal, and also like more enjoyable because it allowed you to build process around your life, versus like I need to hit this and then it kind of like layers down. So I do that on the monthly. So like every year I'll have like a yearly goal and then break it down each month. It's a bit weird, but like I like to have it like written down, otherwise I just can't. I kind of like operate, and then like my daily to do is targeted toward those monthly goals. And then from there I have like a bunch of close friends. I don't share all my goals with them, but like it's like an accountability group, and also like they're like my boys that came to my wedding and stuff. We send like a video update every Wednesday in our group, and if no one shares their update, they have to go on like a 5-kilometer run and take a screenshot and send it in the chat. So it's like, so I didn't share my update this week actually. So I went on a big run this week, so that was fun. But that just helps with like building momentum in your life, and also like accountability. It's sick. So just like grab yourself like a yappuccino and start talking to your friends. It's like my best thing to do. Yeah.
I love that so much. Having a core group of friends you can always lean on is such an important thing. I have 2 follow-ups that come to mind for me. The first one is around like that monetary goal and the shift that you made. That can be a rat race. You know what I mean? Of just like chasing the dollar. How did you escape that?
It's tough, dude. I got to this point where I was like, things are going really well. I'm really fortunate. And it's like, what does it mean to continue to grow at this rate? Like, what am I doing this for? Yes, it's for family, which is cool. But it's like, I wasn't getting any personal satisfaction out of it. Because, yeah, it just like, what was the point really? It got to that point where I was like, okay, now I'm just going to chase the next thing. I'm probably going to exhaust myself reaching to that. And it's just like, it just keeps going higher, and it's never enough. And it never will be, right, for a lot of people. So like for me, it was like, okay, I just listed down like some core things that I really enjoyed, and that I was really passionate about. And it's like, okay, I want to build sick businesses. That's like my core thing. I really want to build fun brands. Whether it's agency, I want to work with cool brands. Yeah, whatever it is. And it's like, that's my objective, and I want to work with cool people, and I get paid for it, which is like fortunate, and that's going to be my objective. And now the objectives are solely on growing those brands, and it's less pressure on me, like how much I need to earn individually, but more around how the brands need to do, and I become like more accountable to that versus like myself in a way. Yeah.
So, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that, man. Well, shout out to Peter. Peter's in the chat. Peter Christensen. He says, "Hey guys." He said,
Peter's great. We work with Peter. He's great.
Love. Yeah, it's so interesting because like I think I'm curious to get your take. It's just like intellectually we understand so much. And we're like, yeah, we should love that goal. We should love that outcome, right?
Yeah.
But then when you have to live every day, put one foot in front of the other, you're like, damn, is that actually fulfilling? Like, does that actually make me happy? in
Yeah.
my day to day. So
Yeah.
it's so interesting when it's like rubber meets the road on like the intellectual, like what you think versus like I'm living it every day. Now I need to actually unwind why I think this way. So it's such an interesting process
It's
to have
really
gone through.
refreshing. Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. For sure. And then the second follow up I had on the personal side here was just like goals we typically equate to the business end, but there are different portions of our life. There's career and business building. There are personal friendships, romantic friendship, relationships, mental health, physical health, whatever that list might be for you. So
Yeah.
when you're thinking about your goal setting, does it relate to all of those different buckets or do you try to confine it to make it a little bit easier?
Yeah, I like to like map it out into different buckets, just like how you listed
Mm,
it out. So I'll have like, like my wife and I have our own separate goals where it's like we want to do things like house related or like savings
nice.
related, investment related, and that kind of goes into like one bucket. She's got her own aspirations, and it's like how can we combine those together to like both. We're a team, so it's like how do we grow together. And then like fitness related, that's been like a big one for me and my friends. It's like how uh, you know going solo is much more trickier than like going with a team. So like if we're all like kind of encouraged towards like a fitness goal, it doesn't have to be the same one, but it's like, hey, can we just like, dude, in New York, I'm walking like 20,000 steps a day. It's like
Jeez.
ridiculous. Like, like shit like that. It's like how can we all like get together and be like, okay, this is what we need to do. Like, let's go for a run every week together. We play a lot of football together. So I used to play. We used to like catch up every like twice or thrice a week, and just ball out. And that would just like that would help us a lot, both mentally and physically.
Talk to him, man. Flex on him too a little bit. Show off the guns. We're here. I love that. I love that. The discipline is sometimes hard to maintain, but I
Yeah.
think that how you structured it, like yearly, monthly, daily, helps that and like staying grounded towards that. So that's awesome, man. That's really, really
Yeah.
awesome.
Like sometimes it can get like a bit overkill, but it just you just got to find your ground. Like for me, it was good to just get a little bit detailed, and like approach it that way, because when I noticed I was too broad, I just was like directionless. Like I didn't know what else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny for me. I'm addicted to work in a best way possible because it's like this brings me a lot of joy to like solve these problems and do these things. So I have to write myself sticky notes, but they're the simplest sticky notes ever. Like this one's just telling me like don't forget to stretch, buddy.
Oh, that's a good one. That's good.
don't forget to stretch or else you're gonna be hurting. I promise you, right up here. Right up here.
Dude, my friend's a chiropractor. I see him every week. He like adjusts. Yeah, dude, he's a lifesaver. Like, shout out to him. He's
Shut
like,
up, bro, man.
yeah, he's like, dude, your back and your neck screwed. Like, I was like, trust me, but I'm like this. I'm like, like on the computer, like it's bad.
That's why I have stretch. I'm like, okay, stand up, get my stretches going, make sure I don't kill myself here. So I have to. It's so simple, but I'm like, if I don't do it, I will
When you
feel this.
forget, yeah, when you're like in it for so long. Like I used to have like a smartwatch that used to be like, okay, you've been sitting down for like 45 minutes, just move. Like
Yeah.
it's important.
100%. Okay, I got one more tweet to pull up because I think I was looking around and it's like one you tweeted very recently that popped off and started a lot of conversation.
Oh yeah, this one was good.
This one right here. Yeah. Hiring for head of growth has to be the hardest role. And there's a lot of chatter that's gone down that we see here. But I'm just curious, like, as you've read through the comments, as you put this out into the world,
Yeah.
do you have any evolved thoughts or any like clarity points to add?
No, it kind of validated the point that I had. Was like majority of people were saying to poach. It's really tricky, like to build kind of like that academy approach that you guys are doing. I mean, it is definitely possible, but it's just like super time consuming. And like, if it's like, hey, we've got like for example, let's say if we have like 3 new brands that need to come on board in the next month, it's like we haven't really built that process to cater for, and it's like also a lot of these brands, they'll come either through like referral or personal, and it's like sometimes they would want to work with me personally. It's like, well, I probably can't work across like 30, 40 accounts. Like, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, so it's about bringing equally good, if not smarter talent than both myself and the team. And like Archer's a genius. Like, he's super smart. So it's like,
shout out to Archer, man. Shout out to Archer.
Shout out to Archer. Like, I've learned a lot from him. So it's like, if it goes through him and myself, and we're like, oh, this guy is like, oh, this girl is like a killer. Like, we're like super excited, and the way we can pitch it to clients is now like, hey, these guys are actually much better than we are. Like I'm not saying it nicely, I'm actually like meaning it. Like I don't want to like hype up a junior and be like, oh, this guy's sick, but it's like I am concerned if this guy can like turn on it, like like there's scenarios like that. Yeah, good question, Peter. So right now I'm across like 4 to 5. And these are like that's kind of like where we would like to like cap out a lot of like, especially like if a lot of like senior or like high spending accounts is like you want to cap them out at like 4, because we don't really like to focus on like media buying only. Like I think if you are just solely focused on that, it's like a big mistake. So we kind of like do everything like acquisition related, so like media, creative, and landing page development. And that's kind of like where we get a lot of insight from Peter around like landing page development, which is cool, and CRO. But the main thing that thread validated for me was like, yeah, poaching is probably number one. You can't poach. Okay, great. We're gonna have to just like send out like a job application somewhere.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. And as you're talking about like the number of accounts to manage and the agency operations here, we can't have this conversation without talking about AI.
Yeah, that's
So I'm
true.
just curious, like, have you guys started implementing AI? If so, how? If not, why? Talk me through it.
Yeah, definitely. So we usually apply it across. So like the best way to start with it is like applying it across your day to day. It's like, okay, if you're spending X amount of hours. So we do like a lot of like time tracking. Um, excuse me. And that time tracking lets us say, okay, X amount of hours are going towards specific clients, then it goes towards specific tasks. And if it's like, hey, this maybe it's like ad uploads are taking really long, they're taking like 15 hours of your week. It's like, okay, how do we reduce that from 15 to like 3? Or even less, non-existent, right? And you're just doing like the approval stage. So that's like the first part. It's like there's multiple tools to do that, or you can either get like a junior person or like a VA to do that. So that can help with like one section of it. Not really AI, but like the AI part comes into like creative development, right? So there's lots of places like using like I know Motion's got an AI tool where it's like you've got a bunch of experts on there which can help with like iterations and briefs, which is sick. So we use that on a couple of clients. And then for the other clients that aren't on there, is like we'll build something through like Claude or ChatGPT to help with like the briefing process, right? And it doesn't even have to be the briefing process, but it can be like, hey, these are like a bunch, upload a bunch of ads that have worked really well, break it down and find like the common key points of it, and then generate new statics or new headlines from there, right? So it's like kind of like going into different approaches. Another good one is just like a lot of like review mining. So like a lot of going into like Reddit threads, Amazon, from competitors, taking all that and saying like, hey, what are the key main pain points from these customers, and can we build like new themes that we haven't talked about in our ads? So like that is like kind of like the main benefit from AI that we've used. And then on the media buying side, we actually use ChatGPT a lot for like report building and like
Nice.
analyzing data. So like let's say we're using like Looker Studio or like Facebook reports. So it's like exporting that into like a CSV and just building out like graphs, analyzing the data. I know Excel have like an AI now as well, which helps you analyze data, and you can like query that. Dude, that cuts out so much time. Like I am so useless at Excel. So it's like getting like chat to like say, hey, this is like a great graph you can build out, or hey, this is how you should view the data. Dude, it's sick. It saves so much time. And that way, if you know the data, you can speak more about it and you can figure out your next steps. So like AI is like, I wouldn't say it's a complete game changer, it's changed everything, but it's like it's helped reduce like 30 hours of work to like 15 or 10, which is like just great.
Madness.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, I love that. There are 3 things in my head. The first one is you and Archie have to hit me up. We got to figure out some partnership stuff. We can get you on Motion. Don't worry about it. Like, we figure it out. So we got to
Let's do
do
it.
that
Let's do
after
it.
this.
Yeah.
Second thing I'm thinking about is just like you've spoken a lot about the operational side. So it's just like, hey, do my research, the analysis, uploading ads to Meta, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And then you had briefly mentioned the Gen AI piece there. So it's
Yeah.
like generating the actual creatives. So are you, just for clarity's sake, are you actually creating a lot of creative itself with these AI platforms and then launching them in the accounts?
Yeah, that's right. So like,
Mm.
dude, even for my brand that we're working on right now, we launched all the creatives through AI. So we went 0 to 30K a month through AI creatives. Um, And that was simply taking, yeah, dude, that was simply taking like product photo and slapping it on like, hey, make it with this model in this background. Sick. And it would just be like different images, different headlines, different visuals. And that took us from 0 to 30K. Like no UGC, no creator costs, uh, insanity. And it's just like volume of like creative there. And that allowed us to learn what was working. And then now we work with creators, like now it's like seeding product, understanding like these are the main talking points that are working really well, spending 50% of our time there, and then we can allocate the rest towards like other initiatives in terms of like creative development. So like generating image assets is like super, super easy. And then the second part is like using like Google's Veo 3 for
Nice.
a lot of like B-roll footage. So that works insanely well for B-roll footage. I don't think end to end, you can make ads, but it's not as scalable. Like people will show it on like socials and they'll be like, "Oh my god, made this ad," and it's like, "Whoa, brother, what was the spin behind that?" Like, you spend like $5. Like, I do not care. You probably spent like 3 hours making that. Like, like the prompts itself, like, and then sitting there while you're sitting there waiting for it to develop, like, So I'm like, if we can take like 80%, 70% of the count, cool. We're in the green. But it's like if you're gonna waste so much time just like around the development, it's not really helpful. It's better for like B-roll footage because that's where a lot of brands might lack. So it's like developing new B-roll footage. That's where I see we currently use it for. But I know there's some agencies that crush it with purely AI, which is sick. So like good for them. Like we're still in the development of making end to end, but right now ours is like image. We'll use it for some image development, whether it's like new backgrounds or like a total asset. And then for videos, it's like we'll use it for like B-roll footage that we can like add in with either like voiceover or some like other footage that's available.
Nice. Honestly, like, I'm so lucky to have these conversations with people like you, because I feel like I've heard so many different perspectives now that it's like shaping my own perspective. Because like the VL3 piece, a lot of people are using it for exactly what you said: B-roll, of course, and then hooks up front.
Yep.
And then what I'm also hearing is a common thing that's coming out is like people who are using AI and actually launching it, they are trying to make sure that it's so clear that it's AI. So if it's like if the product's dirty, make it the dirtiest thing you've ever seen in your life. If it's like the
Yeah.
pants are balloon pants, make them like real balloons at that point or something.
Where I've seen AI ads work really well is if it's like funny and it's like purposely, and the audience knows it's purposely AI, and it's like you over index on the AI side rather than making it realistic. You just be like, yeah, this is purely AI. This is hilarious. The script is funny, and it's just like an AI voice, and that's where I've seen it crush really well.
Love it, man. I love it. So this brings me to the next spot here of twofold, in all honesty. But the higher level piece is like we have these creatives, we now need to run them in the account. And I'm
Yeah.
curious, like your take on what the role of a media buyer is these days.
Yeah, that's a great question. The the role of a media buyer is like understanding that each account is different. I think a lot of people think each business is the same and you can run it the same way. The way I like to look at it is like you're a doctor. The patient's gonna have like different issues. I can't just give Panadol to every single patient and expect the same result. That's kind of the way I look at like businesses. It's like you have different AOVs, you have different product SKUs, there's merchandising, there's if you're running cost controls, there's different bids, there's different creative styles. So you as a media buyer probably need to grasp the idea of what the account is showing you. The goal is to start with simplicity, like, hey, let's launch like let's have like lower amount of campaigns available and like launch creative through that way. And I think that's like one part of like what a media buyer should know. The second part is like, okay, how does the spend actually get shown through these campaigns? So like, is it over indexing for new customers, engaged customers, returning? What's kind of happening there? Looking at exclusions, and then kind of like, what's your full funnel approach to like media? So like campaign, creative, and then like post click experience, which is like your product page, homepage, landing page. Kind of understanding the full funnel, and then the last part to that is like communicating with your creative team. Like, hey, these are the assets that Meta is wanting to spend most of the amount of money to. We're within reaching range of CPA. These are the things I think we can do. and then the creative, you brainstorming back and forth with the creative team. And I think that's like the most important part of like the media buyers role, is like creatively talking. And then also like the finance side is like, can we now look at like like Peter said it perfectly, like they need to be more strategic, like growth marketers. You kind of need to have like, you need to expand your tool belt. It's no longer just like button pushing, and like, yeah, you can get like efficiency gains like 10-15%, I would say, but a lot of it is like, it's outside of the ad account issue. Like we onboarded a new strategist, and it's like, I was like, dude, if you spend more than 50% of your time in the account, it's a you problem. There's a problem. I would say even more than 30% of the time, it's a you problem. The rest of the time needs to go into communication, viewing the data, thinking about landing pages, and thinking about offers, and then also creatives. Like that's where your whole time needs to be spent at, and you need to figure out what is the top priority for their account right now. Right? It will always be creative, because that's what's going to get you from 0 to X amount. But then after that, it's like, okay, now we need to take the creative insights, build a landing page for that specific creative theme. Maybe that's working. Maybe it's like, maybe like saunas for like men under 30 concept works really well. So it's like, okay, let's build a landing page experience around it, so they need to think that way, like a little bit more growth marketer approach.
Jeez, so many things to take care of. And then tactical implementation, thinking about the creative side of things. Do you have any strong opinions on how to actually structure a creative test within the ad account?
It's a great question. It's evolved so much.
Yeah.
And everyone's got so many opinions, and it's like, I'm not like a maxi towards specific one. I'm like, hey, if you want to fight me for it, so be it. Like I'm not I'm not ready to square up. Like I'm not gonna have like, I'm not gonna, like some people spend like half their day on like Twitter. I'm like, oh, you do it this way. It's like, maybe I'll just go do some work, and while you like fight with someone else about it, that's cool. But like my theory is, I like to launch in like a CBO campaign, because I believe, I believe the goal is to launch like a volume of creative, and understand both volume and qualitatively like how that matches up. And without understanding the qualitative side, you need to launch more volume to understand, okay, these themes are really working well, and then you can kind of consolidate from there, right? So like, I don't mean like launch like 40 to 60 creators a week, like launching more volume as a solution, but launching more volume helps you understand at a faster rate that, okay, like if I look at every shot I've taken, what's kind of stuck, and then I can go from 40 to 20 because I'm more bullish, right? So like one thing we did for an account that we started working with 3 months ago, they were spending 10,000 a day, right? And we were like, okay, cool. We were looking at like, like the motion reports. We were building out different reports for like different cohorts, and like looking at like things like, one thing has been like changing naming convention, so we can review things by like concepts and themes. So like pulling that sort of data and understanding, okay, great, these themes are working really well, but we actually haven't even tested like 20 other themes. It's like, why? Why are we only focused on these themes? So the importance there was like, okay, let's just launch a volume of creative. So we went from like launching like 10 creators a week to 40, right? And what that let us do is like, okay, we found creatives that started to work, so we pulled back on how much we're launching and doubling down a little bit more there. And that took us from like 10 to 30K a day, right? And now it's like, okay, we're at this point where it's like we've grown spend a lot, and we've reduced CPA, and now we're introducing new themes, and that's taken us from 10 to like 50K a day, right? And spend. So it's like that itself, now we're going to allocate like 10%, 15% of the time on top performers, and the rest is like, we just want like new audience.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like how I'm looking at creative. It's like volume, pull back, understand the data, then go again. And CBO lets you do that really, really well, in my opinion, versus ABO. You'll see a lot of like efficiency leak. Where I like to launch ABO is like things where you have like more confidence in your hit ratio. So basically like the amount of ads you launch versus divided by like how many of them actually hit like a certain spend and CPA target. So that's kind of like how I monitor hit ratio. And if it's below 5%, we're not good at all. But if it's above 15%, we're at a really good spot, so that's where I get more confidence in creators, and we can launch an ABO because I know it's going to work well.
Huge, man. Random. Well, one thing that I'm thinking about is like that volume of creative is so interesting, because it's also volume but diverse creative to access different audiences to know what works. So it's like that's going to give you the data. So I love that approach of just like max out who you can go after and then figure out what's working, pull back to what's working first. And
Yeah.
then once you're dialed, then scale again to think about how you can start cracking it.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you can launch slowly. That's completely fine. But it's like, why? You know, like unless you're budget constrained, then it's like, okay, yeah, we can't just launch 30 new videos. That's going to be tricky. But there's
Sure.
always a way. You know, there's always a way. If you're a solo founder, go walk around the park and just talk about your product. Pick up the phone, you know, like chill in this booth, talk about your product, like talk about the problem. You know, like one thing that we see work really well is like, at least in this year, is like talking about the problem for a very long time and then introducing the product, right? Like I think a lot of consumers are sick of like this like problem solution style, and it's just like, you know, flash in like this is what I can do to change your life, you know, like they're kind of sick of that sort of stuff, and they kind of want to be told like, oh, I have this problem, let me keep watching and engaging with this creative a little bit more, and then once the solution gets introduced, it's like, okay, I'm actually kind of like interested in this. And that's where we see the top performing creators is like drag out that problem, introduce yourself as a solution, versus like showing yourself in the first frame. That's just not working. Yeah.
So interesting how time has evolved there. How are you on time, by the way? We're a little bit over. I have a couple more questions, but I can simplify. If
Yeah,
needed.
I'm good.
Dope, man. Dope. Okay. Because one of the things that I'm curious about is like, man, entrepreneurial bug into the agency world. It's been this journey, both personally and professionally, that has been a really good journey. You've shared some of the struggles along the way, but I guess what I'm curious about is like, was there one particular struggle where you're like, yo, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this one? And then you did. And how did you do it?
Yeah, it's so funny. So the main struggle was probably when I had mentioned like my supplier had taken a lot of the funds. At this point, I was like a graduate developer. I wasn't making any money basically, and a lot of the money was going into like these businesses. At that point, I had like $50 in my account, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like rent's due at the end of the week, and I'm like, maybe this is it. Like maybe I'm like, you know. But then I was kind of like, man, I did all this for nothing. Like there's no way. Like there's no way. I can't go out like this. So it was more of like I had like this internal dialogue with myself, and I'm like, I got pissed off at myself for thinking to give up, because I was like, how dare you for like doing all this work and you're just gonna like throw your toys. So for me, I was like, no, you know, screw that. I was like, we're gonna figure out a way. So we took some time off, built some more savings, and then that's when we launched the second one, and that's when we started to see some more success. As like being a bit more strategic around it, not just launching it for the sake of it, understanding the numbers a bit more, and just like learning and educating. Like there was a point where I was like working as a developer, and then I was like, okay, I started looking for media buying accounts because I wanted to earn some extra cash. And that would funnel that way. I could use, you know, the salary from developer for living costs and everything, and then the rest of the salary from like media buying would go straight into this business. You know.
Man, I love it. How long did you feel sorry for yourself in that moment?
Yeah, good like 3 hours. Yeah,
you're impressive, man. You're super impressive. You're super impressive.
I mean,
you pick yourself up quick.
Yeah. Like my mom always said, like, you know, if the problem lasts for more than 48 hours, then it's like it's actually a problem. But if it's like less than that, then it's like you shouldn't be phased. So like if it's going on, just like just sit it out and just like see what happens. And it's like if it continues over 48, then it's like you should probably action on it. And if it doesn't, then it's like okay, just it's not a problem. Move on. You know.
I love it, man.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I was living alone, so it's like I didn't really have anyone to lean on.
Sure.
Kind of like if I did, I'd probably sulk with someone, and they'd probably like yeah, stop. You know, it's not a good idea. But I kind of had just myself, so it was like which
could make it harder though. Like I think that isolation either like forges diamonds, or it's like, oh shit, like let me wallow in my sorrows for a little bit longer.
Exactly. And then there was also like a bit of like dialogue of like, hey, you know, previous people didn't believe in you, so it's kind of like, oh, okay, proving them wrong, proving myself wrong. It was like a weird, like, you know, like it was a lot
DJ Khaled says it, man. They don't want us to win.
Yeah, literally. DJ Khaled's my guy. Yeah.
They don't want us to win, so we gonna win.
Exactly.
We gonna win, baby.
We the best.
Oh man, you've been so generous with your time. I have one final question that I ask every guest who comes up
Yeah,
here.
do it.
If you don't have an immediate response, throw it to me first. I got your back while you think. But the question is, do you have a favorite quote? And if so, what is it and why is it your favorite quote?
Uh, I think the favorite quote would be, "It's always impossible until it's done." I think, yeah, I think I probably resonate with that the most because I think a lot of people think, it's like you have to be really smart to do well in life. It's like I disagree. Like I don't think like the wealthiest people I know are dumb. Uh, and it's like I think we have like a tendency to overthink things, and we get stuck in like our day to day. And it's like taking a step back, it's actually like a lot of the shit we're doing is actually not that difficult. Compared to what other people are doing, and also like other industries, whatever it may be. But and like any challenge you face in our industry, I think it's always overcome by figuring it out and like just actually doing it and like making it possible. So that's kind of like probably that's my favorite quote.
I love it, man. I love it. I always, it's so funny. I really resonate with that because I always say that I'm not operating on a body. I'm not flying a plane in the air
Yeah,
where like people are relying on me at
that's
the end of
good,
the
man. But yeah, screw that. Like, no
day.
way. Charge of like the lives, you crazy? Like that's insane.
Yeah. So it's
Like,
just like push through. It's okay.
yeah,
We'll get there.
you'd
We're
rather be
fine.
in charge of the media buying budget. Like,
Oh man. Rahul, you're the man. Do you have any final words to leave with the audience today?
uh, nothing on mind. I think I think the industry and the jobs we're in is sick. I think enjoy your moments. And yeah, have fun with it. Like I feel like people stress too much in this industry over small things, and it's like, man, we're actually truly blessed to be doing this on a day to day. My parents still don't know what I do for work, so it's like they think I like games. So um, it's we're in a really good spot, I would say. Yeah,
I always tell my parents, I'm like, I have a job that didn't exist like 20 years ago. And then
exactly.
that's what they stick to. They're like, oh yeah, he's doing something that wasn't able to be done 20 years ago. I'm like,
My mom still introduced me as a software developer to like family friends. So that's true. Like it's yeah. It's,
man, the final thing I'll say, he's not plugging himself in the company. So let me do a little plug for this guy. But everybody, go check your boy out on Twitter, all right? X, whatever we're calling it. Tap, tap, tap in. You guys got to follow. You need help. Reach Digital's doing their thing. Absolutely crushing it. But I
appreciate it.
appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you.
Likewise, likewise. And I'll see you in Vancouver when you come.
That's crazy. Yeah. So next week, you're making the move?
Next week I'm making a move, and then hopefully we'll get like an apartment, and then I'll start dishing out the invites. So you always got a place to stay.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Canada in the building. New
Yes,
Canadian
sir.
in the house. New
Yes,
Canadian.
sir.
Toronto in the building. You know what it is. I love it, man. We got to run this back. I feel like there were so many things I wanted to get into on the technical side, but we
Yeah.
just kind of kept it to the personal, which is absolutely amazing. I love that
Yeah.
stuff. We got to run it back at some point. Get into
Definitely hit me up, dude. Always.
all right,
Always a
most
pleasure.
definitely, brother. All right, I appreciate you. I'll
Thank
talk to
you.
you soon.
See ya.
Later. Oh man, everybody. This conversations like this fire me up. I'm so happy right now. The first thing I'm going to do is stand up. So anyone who's attended a Thumbstop Live before, in between guest changes, you know that I like to stand up and get my stretching in as I showed earlier. So while this is happening, if this is your first time here, tap in with us at ThumbstopLive on X. We go live every Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. We stream across X, LinkedIn, YouTube Live, and Instagram. So we're out here doing it every day. And that Rahul conversation was incredible, man. Like I said, I met this guy probably 3 years ago, the same timing that I probably met Brad. So I'm excited for Brad to come up here too. But it was really interesting, some of the pieces he was mentioning, because Rahul just technically like lives and breathes this day to day. Every single thing you need to live into an ad account and absolutely crush. And he shared some gems around how you can structure your creative testing, being flexible in the accounts that you're working with. And then like you see how his mad scientist brain just goes down different tracks of different examples to bring it to life. But some of the coolest things about Rahul to me is just his focus and determination on personal growth. Like, it's not easy to set yearly goals that break into monthly, that break into the daily goals. Like, that's not simple. Like, I think we all can agree with that. So having someone come and be so determined by that and creating a circle around them that enables that experience is something admirable for sure. So I hope everybody enjoyed that conversation. I know I did. I'm feeling good. But with that said, I would love if everyone can just get a quick stretch within me first. Or kick stretch. There we go. Coming to life. Oh, you see the spam tea, by the way. If anybody has been to Japan, Okinawa specifically, you know they are known for their spam. So me and my wife got matching spam shirts. You know what it is. I'm like a walking billboard right now. But with that said, I would absolutely love to welcome our next guest to the stage. Now, Brad is somebody I met, again, maybe 3.5 years ago, and someone I've always respected our conversations around. So the fact that he's up here with us makes me so freaking happy in my soul. So everybody, let's give that round of applause. Welcome my guy, Brad, to the stage.
What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm amazing, man. I'm amazing. How are you?
Good. I want you to know I'm standing up too, so I can, if we gotta do anything, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm warmed up.
Oh no, we need to figure out something to do now. I feel like that has to happen. I should have thought of it before. Damn, man.
That's all good. But just so you know, I just searched your email in my inbox to see when the first time we ever talked was September 14th, 2021.
Yo,
that's crazy, right? It's four
hell?
years coming up on 4 years. Isn't that crazy?
4 years ago?
Yeah.
That's insane. How much of life has changed since then, huh?
I have 2 kids now, so maybe at least 2 kids. Probably a new house. I think. I don't know, man.
Oh my god! Congrats. How old are your kids?
One of them will be 3 in November, and the other one just turned 1 like 2 weeks ago.
My heart, man. I always tell everybody I have immense baby fever. I would love to have children. I can't wait for the time that I become a dad. So like, how's your experience been so far with the kids?
It's good, man. It's good. Like I don't know. You just kind of realize like things are not as serious as like they need to be. Like there's so many more important things. We had some interesting experiences with like health related stuff early on for one of them. So like it really puts things into perspective pretty quick. He's great now, but like that quickly sets the perspective. And it's just like they don't really care what happened to you that day. Like they're just ready to play when you're done working or whatever. So you just kind of like walk out. There's a non-zero chance he'll bust into this room. My door's locked. He still figures out how to open it. So you might get Griffin running in here.
Get Griffin. I want Griffin here now. That's surprise guest number. Oh my god, that makes me so happy. But it's so interesting. I was talking to Andrew Foxwell last Friday, actually, and he started off with a similar conversation about his daughter, and it was just like, it's so interesting the type of energy it creates. You know, there's speaking with you immediately, I feel it, and with Andrew, like felt it immediately. Just like this amount of gratitude. It's like what's really important for us, and like how do we build our lives around that? Instead of like what everyone's caught up in D2CX or whatever it might be. That we're seeing.
For sure. Maybe it's a Wisconsin thing between him and I don't know. I mean, you guys were just I was listening in. I'm basically Canadian. I'm like on the border here. Yeah, I'm close. So Canadian Wisconsinite energy about the same.
I love it, man. I love it. Brad, I want to get into a bunch of different things, but while we kick off and we have our audience here, I'm wondering if where we can start is a quick, tell us about yourself, a little bit about your work experience, anything you're willing to share. We can kind of kick it off from there.
Yeah, for sure. So I have been doing marketing my entire professional career. I had like a weird transition into professional career because I just like trying to figure out how to make money at the end of college. It was like, I don't know that I really want to get a job. I remember very starkly like going in we had to do an internship for college. And I went in for an interview at an insurance company and I like sat down and I was like, this is so depressing. I cannot do one of these ever again. And so I never did another interview and just kind of decided that I need to figure something else out. So I own a company called Work Marketing with 2 business partners. One of them I've known since middle school. One of them I met at UW Oshkosh where I went to school. We were roommates and we just kind of like learned marketing together. I went and freelanced for a little bit about 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago to the date. One of them hit me back up. We had some mutual clients that we worked together on, and then it just kind of like snowballed into where we are today. And now we work with primarily D2C e-com brands, and it's been a sick run.
That is incredible, man. I didn't know these things about you, so now I'm just naturally curious about these things. So
it's crazy.
Yes, hit me with it. Hit me with it.
And the way I learned Facebook ads in college, so I was like, we were about the semester was about to start in September. Summer or the fall semester was about to start, and we're like, dude, we're so broke, like we need to make some money. And we're like, there's a every year, if anybody is familiar with Oshkosh, Wisconsin, or Wisconsin generally speaking, you know how notorious we are for alcoholism, which is not a great thing. But what that results in is a bunch of pub crawls, and so our college had some pub crawls, and everybody liked to wear these like t-shirts, and they like to signify that you were with like a certain team. Like you wore a t-shirt with your people that you were going out with. And so that's when I learned how to do print on demand t-shirts. We designed some t-shirts in memory of Harambe, and I learned how to run Facebook ads. So we made a couple $100 selling pub crawl t-shirts by print on demand. That's how I learned Facebook ads. It was the first time I ever ran Facebook ads.
That is, shout out to Harambe, first of all.
I know.
Oh my God, everybody.
Huge pull.
Harambe stands strong. Huge pull, huge pull. That is freaking hilarious, man. So I guess what I'm curious about is like, you literally sat in that first interview with that insurance company and you're like, nah, can't do this. That was the literally thought that would happen when it's your mind. You're like, okay, something else. That's what it has to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you kind of mentioned energy, and like this conversation already, like it has a different type of energy than like some of them that you go into. And you just like went in there, and it was like an intern was interviewing me. She like very obviously didn't like it. She she was nice, super nice. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to like throw anybody under the bus here. Like everybody was great, but then you get to the next round of interviews, and it was like, okay, well, why do you like working here? And like none of them really had an answer. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm asking the wrong questions here. Maybe I shouldn't be asking people why they like the job. Maybe they should ask me if I'm even qualified for this. But it's just like, it seems soul sucking. And I'm sure there's plenty of places that it's not, but it's just like, this isn't going to work. And maybe it's just me, but just knew right away. Wasn't going to be the fit.
And then some of the other stories you've shared, something I'm curious about is like the entrepreneurship bug. Like, have you always been an entrepreneur in your soul since like a kid, essentially?
I don't know. I mean, I try to think back because like, I feel like there's this like, this common trope that like it just existed in you. And I think back to like, did it? I don't know. My dad worked for the same company for like 35 years. And I like watched him wake up at 3 a.m., go to work, and he worked in the warehouse all the way up until being like district manager. So like he did some pretty incredible things throughout his career, but he always wanted to be a business person. And right now, since he's retired, he does taxidermy. It's like he crushes it. He does really well. But like, we did lemonade stands and we did all those things, but like we never made any money. We were terrible at it. So like I don't know that I really had that. I was always kind of inspired by the idea of it. And when YouTube was early, YouTube was just coming out when I was like starting to get into like late middle school into high school. And so I would just like found videos of people not super far ahead of me age wise, and just like started watching their videos, and like they kind of got into it, and I was like, okay, sick, that looks cool. So I'm just gonna keep following along, and it's kind of what I'm here. So I don't know. I don't know if it's always been there, but it's just been interesting. Yeah.
There's something that you've always been quite, at least my analysis here is like, again, I'm not professional by any means, but it's like you've been quite in tune with what's important to you in some version of like what you like. Because when I think back to that insurance interview, something that's so easy to do in society today is like they say, this is the path you're supposed to take. You should like it, and almost immediately you opted out. And that's like really hard to do. You know what I mean? So quite impressed by that, which I don't know if that's entrepreneurship by any means, but it's just like a good trait that I feel like is important to succeed in the business you are in now. So good job, man. That's incredible.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I don't know what it is. It's just like, I think about, I don't know, maybe this is a little out there, but like, I really enjoy being alive, which is like a weird way to phrase it, but like there's so many cool things we get to experience, and I've had a very fortunate life. So like it's easy to say that. A lot of great things going for me, but I just like don't want to spend a ton of time doing things that I don't like doing. And so I noticed that if you're sitting in it for too long, like something kind of has to change. So
I love that. And to bring it back to the kids, I feel like that's one thing I'm super excited about, to just see the world through a fresh pair of eyes once again. Like you forget, you got the jaded vision. So it's like the little, I'm on a plane. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm touching sand. Oh my God.
It's crazy. No, the plane thing is crazy. We had that experience recently. I mean, here's a fun one. Like
Yeah.
It's so hard to like be mad about things because like literally yesterday, I'm like looking at my kid and he's eating a snack and all of a sudden he bends over and all of a sudden he starts like he's just peeing on the floor, like literally peeing on the floor. I'm like, dude, what are you I'm like, I want to be frustrated because like we're trying to figure out this potty train thing, but it's like I cannot stop laughing. It's so funny. So yeah, interesting lens, but like he doesn't care, So
I'm gonna have so many moments. Like I'm supposed to be mad and like instilling and trying to be a good parent, but there's no way I can't laugh. Like no way.
they just do funny shit. It's just like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man, that's so great. I'm so happy you shared that one. Later in your story, you had mentioned like formed work marketing with one of your friends from middle school, and then someone else you met in college.
Yeah.
Typically when I'm talking to founders, like we talk about the idea of the importance of like finding the right co-founders and how important that relationship is. I'm wondering if you have opinions there or perspective to share based on how you formed your relationships.
I think having co-founders is like extremely meaningful, especially like when it happens to be the right person. And I don't know if it's just like serendipity of like being their friend and that worked out for that reason. But I cannot imagine like doing this every single day for as long as we have. And like it's hard, and not being able to just like call one or both of them and just like vent for a little bit, because like they get it, they're in it too. And there's plenty of other friends, Andrew Foxwell's a great human, Zach Stuck's a great human. Like there's plenty of people that you can kind of turn to, but also like the co-founders, like they're in it with you, so they see it every single day. But like that has made it extremely impactful. And like, yeah, there's like there's some implications that come along with like having a co-founder, but I think that the benefits kind of outweigh the downside, assuming it's the right person. And I know not everybody can find the right person. And so yeah, there's also this kind of like idea of you shouldn't work with friends, and I don't, or family, and I don't really have a strong opinion on that. I tend to like shy away from it because I think I just like give too much, and but it's worked out extremely well with both of these guys. So I get probably luck more than anything.
Luck always plays a factor, but it's also interesting. Like, I am not this way, but like my career is so driven by this, and it played out pretty well. So I think it's also interesting how that one works.
For sure.
Speaking of Foxwell and Zach, I've gone ahead and pulled up a couple tweets here that I wanted to dig into a little bit.
Let's go. Hopefully nothing crazy.
I don't think I have anything crazy. But let me pull up one. See how it goes. But the first one is more relevant to what you posted very recently, in all honesty. So
Unk. It's Unk.
I have two questions.
Yes.
First one is what inspired you three to start Scalability School? And the second one is, how do you feel about being called Unk at this point?
Yeah. Okay. So let's start with Unk, because I don't know how to feel about that. I've gotten several people unprompted. Like I just showed them this and they're like, it's the mustache. I'm like, okay, well, it's not going. So, I'm just going to have to embrace the Unk status. Also, somebody said that like the range of age on this looks like we're in 33 to 45, and I was like, just to be clear, I'm 30 years old, so I must be doing something wrong. I gotta work on the skincare routine or something. I know a couple people in the Foxwell group and D2C community have skincare brands for dudes, so I gotta hit them up.
Too.
But yeah, Unk status is I think it'll grow on me. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet.
That's so funny.
Inspiration behind the starting point. So, I mean, I talk to these guys like regularly. I talk to Zach every single day, at least over text, sometimes on the phone. And then Andrew has just been like, just the connective tissue that holds awesome relationships together. And they both kind of just like reached out to me one day and said, hey, like Zach has historically wanted to do this. And Andrew is the one that was like, we're doing it. Like, we just got to stop beating around the bush. Like, let's just do it. And so they hit me up, and we took basically like some of our daily conversations and brought them to the podcast so that other people can learn alongside us.
I love it, man. And how are you enjoying it? Are you not enjoying it? What do you think so far?
I love it because I think there's like some forced reflection that comes from preparing for like trying to like, what have I learned that's useful not only to me but for other people that I can share, and it kind of has to be in like a thoughtful way. So we've gotten some feedback that it feels like very raw, and I think that's like somewhat intentional. But like I just want to make sure that the things that I enjoy the most when I consume content is like very tactically specific things. I like listening into some other conversations, but like the podcast I find myself paying the most attention to is like you give me a specific recommendation that I can go take and like try to implement myself. And so we just try to make sure that that shows up, I think, as often as possible. And it's super fun. I love it. We do episodes like every other week right now. I wonder, like, should we be doing more? Because it's just like it's a good time. But it's a lot. I don't know how you're doing this daily. Like that's like super impressive. So I have no idea how you're doing it.
Thanks, man.
But it's inspirational. So I might need to try and catch up to you.
Thanks, man. Thanks. It's not easy. So I don't know if I recommend, in all honesty. I don't know if I recommend, but I love what you guys are doing. I love what you guys are doing. And something that's like so interesting to me is just that process, like you were saying, of how to be intentional to articulate exactly what you want, because or what you want to say. Because something that I found hard, and even in a lot of these conversations, is like I'm talking to a lot of experts. And when you are an expert in your field, it is hard to describe why you do what you do all the time. You're just like, I know it's supposed to be this. I feel this. I've been doing it forever at this point. So that act of distilling why you think the way that you think, like kudos to you, man. Like I know that's not easy. I know that's not easy.
No, I appreciate that. I'm just like, if any normal human being sat in a room with us for like, could you imagine taking a normal person through like a motion demo, and it's like they're gonna hear you say thumb stop, ROAS, MER, like they're gonna be like, what are you talking about? Like that doesn't even make those real words. What do these acronyms mean? It's crazy. And so I mean we have clients that come from all different kinds of like walks of experience in life, and like I have to remember that what is in my brain might not necessarily be in theirs. And so maybe the podcast is kind of a way to take me through like better explaining, better way to explain things. So
I love it, man. Okay. Next tweet that I pulled up is a little bit more tactical in here, but I have a higher level question that ties to the tactics. But when is this from? Earlier. Oh no, a year and a half ago at this point.
Oh yeah.
So it's
still
not
true.
Creative. Yeah, there we go. It's still true. It's still true. So what I'm curious about is what is the role of a media buyer this day? I ask everybody this, honestly, but like what's a role of a media buyer these days? And in this specific example, like how did that come to life essentially?
Yeah. So I think this is a really interesting kind of discussion that happens from like time to time. Like we literally, within the last week, like we've talked to people for like new business pitches. We're like, well, Meta does all the optimizing. It's like, what do you do? I think it's a great question. I think it's something that anybody looking to hire somebody for this service should ask, because they should have a system. Like the job of me to like convince somebody to hire us is like show you that I have a process and a system that I'm going to execute on. And then I also have to convince you that it's the right process and system, because like you might have a system that sucks. So I think to get to your question specifically, like what is the role of a media buyer? I think there's like some kind of like definition somewhere in this tweet that's kind of like talking about identifying and purchasing ad space, blah, 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 blah. But I think media buying is interesting because that sounds more of like pulling the trigger, clicking the buttons inside a Meta machine, which it is to some degree. But I also think it's more about, I think media planning is maybe a better way to phrase it. So it's, what does my seasonality look like? When am I going to spend the money? How am I going to spend it? Is it going to flex up on weekends? How do I adjust for promos? It's like thinking about when I'm going to spend the dollars and how I'm going to make sure that they're most efficient when I am spending those dollars. And that covers a lot of different things. It's planning those moments, understanding seasonality, understanding who the customer is, figuring out how to communicate that to a creative strategist so that they know what's important and what they should focus on. And then also just like making sure that the account is set up and structured in a thoughtful way. I think the heart of this tweet was really just like, changing ad account structures can be meaningful, and everybody has their own like preferred structure, I'm sure. But there's just, depending on like the stage of business and the insights that you can pull, like changing a couple of things inside of ad accounts can end up being pretty meaningful. So I think the role of media buyer, and I'm sure creative strategist, like just changes probably every month. And I'm sure that will only continue to happen, but hopefully that gives you some insight to how I'm thinking through it.
No, that makes a ton of sense. And like at this very moment in time, when we talk about a media buyer, you would use the language of like prepare a creative strategist. But I'm wondering, does that extend to the creative team as well? Like, is there an expectation that the media buyer can almost brief a creative team on what they need to do?
Yeah, that's really interesting. So we have our team, our pod, I guess, broken down into like 3 roles right now. So it's growth lead, media buyer, and then creative strategist. And the growth lead's responsibility is really to understand, like they're more strategic and somewhat executional. Like they should know how to pull the levers. Because one thing I've interacted with is like, I don't like the idea of account managers that don't know what's going on. And so that's why we've made a very conscious decision to focus on the growth lead aspect of it. But they're like, they're planning like, what is the messaging that's going to be important for next month and what is tactically working today? And like, how do I communicate what's important for us to focus on to the media buyer? So that way, when they're looking at the ads every single week and they're going to make a request to the creative strategist for what they're looking for, they know it ladders up to a broader strategy as opposed to just, this is what worked that last week. I think we should try to iterate it or do this thing. Like maybe that's still valuable. And I think it is still valuable, but to the creative team specifically, and that was kind of your question, a really long-winded way of getting back to it. We try to make sure that the growth lead and media buyers just like give context to the creative strategist, and then we kind of leave it to the creative strategist to make sure that the like actual designer editor is understanding that.
Huge, man. Okay. Next, what I wanted to talk about is like, I want to talk to agencies and brands, but we'll start with agencies on this front. So it's like, you've been at this for a while now. And I'm wondering if you were to talk to a young agency founder that's out there, like what recommendations would you give them? And have there been any particular like struggles that you could coach them through ahead of time?
Yeah. I mean, I would say like pick one thing to get really good at, like be the TikTok shop person or be the meta person or be the, creative strategy person or, be the Google buyer and like get really good at that one thing. Because although it's really helpful, and maybe this is the lesson in here. It's helpful to understand how that connects to the other parts of the business. But at the same time, it's just like, you can only do so much. And I think you would rather become an expert in at least one of those things, but then dabble. Like you got to dabble in a little bit of everything else. And so to the struggle, I think one of the benefits that we have is we had this kind of like obsessive focus on our meta ads actually driving growth for these brands. And so we wanted to understand like the financial implications of that. And I think everybody says like, we help grow profit now. Like that is just the agency tagline of the last 3 years. Which is totally fine. Like that's, you should, that's kind of the reason you're hiring somebody. But like when you can pull up a Meta account or even a Google account and understand like how that actually connects to the financial reality of the business, like you can actually build a strategy that does something. So for example, when you pull up a Google ad account, as we often do, and you see that they're ripping budget into branded campaigns, it's like, oh man, this is brutal. But like, so I think just, getting really good at one thing and then understanding how what you do impacts the broader business and being able to communicate that, I think is really helpful.
Huge, man. Huge. And from the agency side, what's been one of the hardest things about growing the agency?
Yeah, I think I've continuously relearned this lesson, and this year has been the most meaningful for me because I think we've done the best job ever at it. And it's just like, the agency is made up of humans, and like that's true of any business. But like the service and product that we provide is human capital, which is like a weird way to phrase it. But like we have to find and train incredible humans that can just like do a great job. And so we've just like had a higher standard with hiring, and our team is incredible. Like I love everybody that we work with. We had a lot of them in town this year for like the first time ever, and that was sick. And so I just think like humans are the business, and like it's really important to just make sure that you take care of them and also find the right people.
I hear this over and over again, and something I'm always curious about is like, how the hell do you find the right humans to work with?
Man, it's hard. You have to go through a lot of people, and like it's not that and it's not even necessarily that like some people are bad. It's just like maybe they don't fit the culture, or like you think that they would be better off in somewhere else. And it also changes. Like what we would have expected from a media buyer 3 years ago is very different than our expectations today. And so your team is constantly has to kind of change and grow and adapt to that. But we just like lots of LinkedIn DMs, lots of recruiting help. We have some recruiters that help that are fantastic, but it's just like, you just work through a lot of people, but then also like knowing what to ask. Like I really struggled with this for a long time. It was like asking the right questions. And so what it helped me get better at it was just like, okay, I'm going to go write down everything that a media buyer does in a day and then figure out like, what question can I ask that will tell me if the person that I'm interviewing has experience doing that. Like creative was a big thing. It's like, can you tell me your exact creative process and how you interact with creative strategists right now in your role as a media buyer? And if they can't explain that, I mean, maybe this is a little bit harsh, but like, I want to know that you have a process. Maybe I'll change the process when you get here. But like, if you don't have a process right now, I'm not sure that you know how to execute on this specific skill. And so I think just getting better at asking those questions and digging into it.
It's huge, man. That is huge. Something I'm curious about is like when I think of the hiring process, this is overly simplistic in all honesty, but like when it comes to a candidate, there's like the technical ability and then there's the cultural fit side of like what you're building. Do you place more weight on one or the other?
I think I just like, I rip looms to people so that they know like who I am and how I am as a person. And I think like pretty quickly you'll know if you like me or not because of like how I talk, and you're going to know I want to talk to you through a loom as opposed to like sending an email, because you can pick up the inflections and how I talk, and you'll kind of know my intent behind things a bit better. And so I try to use that as a way to like help with the cultural piece, because I think you'll pick up pretty quickly like what I care about through that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like cultural fit and like just the person caring and wanting to do a good job is ultimately going to be more impactful. Like people can pick up the skills. I would say it's really hard to like pick one or the other though. They're both probably equally as important depending on how you look at it.
Got you. Honestly, that's a really good tip though. It's like insert your whole personality into the hiring process for all candidates. So it's like they know what they're signing up for.
For better
like
or
some
worse.
Version of that is good. Yeah. That's
people might hate me, but that's all right. Like that's
I feel like it's only good then at that point. Yeah, like that's only good at that point. You don't like me? Okay, fine. Like we shouldn't work together anyways.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So I feel like that process is great. And then on the agency side, I think I can't talk about agency life without talking about AI.
Yeah.
And something I'm curious about is like, have you implemented AI into your processes? If yes, how? If not, why?
Yeah.
Curious there.
It's funny. My DMs have been like, for the first time ever in my Twitter career, if you can call it that, my DMs have been like kind of blown up. And it's because we released a podcast episode where I like said, and it's awesome that people are listening to it, where I was like, if you DM me, I will send you this prompt that we're using to help onboard clients. It's a deep research prompt. And so basically what the prompt does is it's because of like one of the things that we do that's most meaningful, I think, for our clients is like help set the creative strategy, whether we're helping execute on the actual deliverables or we're giving them guidelines on what they should be focused on. We want to build out this like crazy creative deep dive. So it goes through competitors, personas, angles, reviews. Like it just goes through this really crazy deep dives and then gives us that kind of like starting point. Now, a creative strategist and a media buyer will take that and bring it to the finish line because it's only the starting point. But I found that AI is like very good at like at least getting the research process started, as opposed to like staring at a blank canvas and wondering like, what do I do next? And so like the onboarding for creative specifically has been super helpful for us. And then I just think like the normal ways that everybody else uses it, like, okay, getting a double check on like copywriting, coming up with iterations. We use this tool called Poppy from time to time where you can just like upload a bunch of stuff. And like, we just have 17 things where it's like, okay, here's how you could iterate on a video. Here's how you could iterate on a static. Here's how you could get more creative diversity. And so, just like a bunch of like small things here and there. I don't know that I use it as well as I should, but I think there's a lot of fun applications for it.
Huge, man. We got to talk about motion at some point. So it's just like, we can get you in there. Don't worry about anything else, but we can get you in there so you can play around with these different things. Because I'm just thinking your application, we've talked about everything except like the generation side. Right. Yeah. So it's like everything into the research, the analysis, the idea generation, but it's like the actual creative itself. Are you using any AI to power that?
That's a really good question. I'm glad you mentioned it because it's something in the last like probably 2 or 3 weeks that I feel like we've made really meaningful progress towards. I know a lot of people have been using like VO3 for hooks and B-roll, and I think Rahul even mentioned it. Shout out to Rahul. He killed it. I tuned in for a bit. He's a baller. The way that we use it most right now is like taking like, let's say you've got a static with a headline and it's dialed in and it's working really well. We want to do more of it, but we don't want to just like change the headline very slightly or change some colors here and there. Like we want meaningful differences through that. So what we'll do is we'll take that image that's working and use like GPT to come up with using some examples. We'll find some examples and we'll just be like, okay, take this, what's working. Here's a bunch of different examples, like make a bunch like that. And it's basically just helping us create like anywhere from like 8 to 20 different, very visually different pieces of creative. That's usually then passed off to a designer to finalize. Like they haven't been good enough to use for the most by depending on the standard. Like if it's our own internal brand, I'm like, all right, whatever, I'm just gonna launch it. I don't really care. But like when we're doing client stuff, we make sure that a designer finalizes it and make sure like the product is perfect in those types of things. But it's really good at like inspiration for like a wide range of creative diversity.
It's so interesting you brought up how it's like the designer still takes it the final mile. Because I've been thinking a lot, and let me know your thoughts, of just like the game and the way that briefing currently occurs is going to change forever as these products get better. I don't know when anything's going to be ready for the ad account right off the bat. And again, some people would say it's already there, but my personal opinion, not quite there yet. But it's just like what will definitely change is the briefing process in my mind from what you're describing. But I'm wondering if you have thoughts there.
Yeah, I mean, I just think like pull up a motion and grab your top 3 ads and say, I want to select this one, this one, and this one. And maybe you guys already have an agent that does this, but it's like, okay, I want you to do a couple things. I want you to go analyze like who is the gender and the age mix that's responding to this. What are they saying? And like it analyzes the context of those ads. It figures out what's most similar about them. And then it goes through the database of everything that you have and what you have from a creative diversity perspective, because you can quantify that, right? Your naming conventions and a bunch of other things can help quantify that. And then it just gives you a starting point for the brief, which is like, cool, I looked at all your top 3 ads that you selected. These are the people that are responding to it. Here's what's similar about them. Here's what's different about them. Have you considered this? And it's just like, holy shit. Like, I think we're probably pretty, like, that's probably already there. If you just like, I mean, you guys probably have the piping to do it, right? You just kind of need the pipes.
We're cooking. We're cooking.
I know, I'm sure. So like, yeah, just like it makes that kind of what I said a bit ago about that prompt. It's like, I think it's really good at the research process. And again, it still needs a little bit of the human sauce and the context from working with the brand for several years to know maybe a couple of those additional details. But yeah, man, I think it can get you to a starting point and maybe even like a final point substantially faster.
Huge, man. Huge. Okay. So we have this creative. I also asked Rahul this because I get this question so much in my DMs and on all these calls. It's around creative testing.
Yeah.
So it's the actual strategic structure of a creative test. I'm wondering if you have strong opinions on how to implement this.
I think yeah, not really, because I think like I think it depends on the scale of the ad account, right? So maybe I'll walk you through a couple of phases to give you kind of an idea of like how I think through it. I think for the most part, for brands that are trying to get up to their first $1,000 to maybe $3,000 in spend, I think you should just like take a bunch of different types of messages. So, right. I call it personas, pillars, and angles. And then you have, some other ways to kind of break down and define stuff, but it's like, okay, I want to make 20 ads, 5 of them focused on, or they're going to be focused on 5 different pillars and then in 4 different formats. So maybe it's a couple images, a couple videos, whatever the format kind of definition is. Take your 20 ads and throw it into a campaign and see what gets spent, because you're just looking for signal at that point. Like you just need any evidence of something that's going to work. Even if it's not at your target, you should probably just trust that Meta is spending the dollars in the right way, even if it's not there yet. And then you can take what's working and you can iterate from there. So I think kind of up to that, 3,000 is a little bit of a random number, but like from a simplicity standpoint, just throw it into one big campaign and see where the spend goes. And then honestly, from there, like you can ride that for a while. We still do that in accounts that are spending 15 to 20K a day. But I know that there's a lot of people that like to have more control, and that's where ABO, I think it's a little bit more exciting. I'm less of a fan of ABO testing personally, but I don't knock it. I think it's just everybody has their own way to do it. So yeah,
their own flavor and approach.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so interesting like having these conversations, because I see the through lines and then like where people differ. And something that's been consistent is like volume is important, but like volume of iterations isn't as important. Like really what volume means is like a heavy amount of diversity getting out to the different people into the world. And then from there, it's kind of just like however the ad account reacts and however you want to structure it at that point, and then like take from there. So
totally.
Makes a lot of sense.
That's what Meta seems to be telling us, right? Like they just like volume and diversity, which is helpful and also not helpful all at the same time, because it can mean a million different things.
That's very true. It's very true. Okay, that's the agency side. Now something that comes to mind for me is on the brand side. You have worked with so many great brands. So something I am curious about is like, speaking of through lines, are there any areas, like 1 to 2 areas potentially, where you see brands consistently dropping the ball that could be considered low-hanging fruit?
Yeah, I mean, two things. One is understanding like the financial implications of the decisions that you're making, right? Like we've had so many clients come to us, and it's just like you are spending money for the sake of a revenue top line number and have like it's not making you money, and like you cannot keep doing this. And so you have to have a thesis around how you're going to actually make real dollars out of this, and then just understand like how Meta can help support that if Meta is the channel of choice. I think it's valuable that brand owners like understand how to pull the meta levers, especially in the beginning. And now like I like to think that we do a really good job explaining that and like coaching people through it. But also it's just like, it's helpful if you've spent your own dollars and you've tactically pulled the buttons and levers, because you can see the impact of that on your P&L. And I think that really helps. So I'd say first mistake is just like not having a sense of when my meta ROAS is this, that's what it means for my business financially. Because seeing a 1x in meta doesn't necessarily mean that that's all you're getting, right? So there's some nuance there. The second piece of it is just like, there's very few people that we work with that come to us with the creative foundation for like, it's just working. Like they're pumping out assets, whatever. And so I think, and that's, to be fair to brands, like it's relatively new. I would say that in the last 2 years is when this volume piece has picked up. So I think a lot of them just like don't have the, like they don't have somebody in-house that's pumping out content. And like, you should probably have somebody in-house that's pumping out content and then hire agencies to help leverage that up.
So both of those things are super interesting. The first one, let's start there. Like, how do you coach them through this when it's a new language to them?
Yeah, no, I mean, spreadsheets, like literally getting the spreadsheets together. Like I have a spreadsheet.
Nice.
It's called Media Buyer Financials. It's been widely shared in the Foxwell Founders Group, probably also inspired by a lot of great people. Like CTC puts out fantastic content around this. Dave Recook on Twitter talks a lot about it. There's a lot of great people that you can learn from, but like we just go in the spreadsheet and we organize their dashboard in a certain way, and we just walk them through it like line by line. Onboarding through a Loom or on a call, it's like, here's what this means and why. Here's why it's important to us. Here's how it connects to your meta ROAS, and here's what that means. Okay, now let's go look at the unit economics. So when you sell a product for this and it costs you this and you spend this much on ads, that's how much you make in dollars. Are you happy with that? Or are you sad with that? Okay, what can we do about that? So it's just like go in the spreadsheet and just like put it in there and walk through it together.
How many times have you seen like the light bulb go off and it's like, aha, I get it now. Like, this is what I always should have been doing.
I mean, unfortunately, like often, and usually it's like, because shit, I've been losing my ass for a little bit. And just like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, you just kind of, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And so like getting slapped in the face with it is sometimes what you need. And, but usually everybody's like really receptive and understanding and ready to move forward.
Huge, man, huge. And then on the creative side of things and building that engine, when they come to you, when they don't have that in place, is that something where you're like, okay, we're not ready to work together yet? Or are you coaching them through that as well on how to get that set up?
Yeah, I think it depends on the brand, but like we will generally, like I said, with that creative onboarding, what that's going to do for us is give them a perspective on what they should focus on next. Okay, here's the core message that seems to be working in your ad account. Here's what we're going to do. Like, we're going to go get some creators to make some videos, and then they're going to be in this style. And we're also going to make some statics using the content that you have. We don't have the ability to make founder type videos because like, that's your thing. You should go make some of these. And by the way, do you have any like influencers in your DMs that have been hitting you up about the product that you think might fit the whatever angle is popular right now? Like, you go reach out to them. We'll do this, and we're going to tag team like getting some content production up and ready to go. And so yeah, I think it's a bit of both. Now it depends on the stage, right? Like some brands might not want to like pay us for that, or they feel like they don't have a content bank. And if they don't have enough content like as is that we can work through, then we'll tell them to hold off. But yeah, it can look a couple different ways.
Cool, man. Cool. Okay, so that's the agency and the brand stuff. And I think like we're the final place I wanted to go here with a couple different questions, just more to the personal side of things again. Mm-hmm. So something I'm curious about is if we started off talking about family. So I was going to ask if you have a personal or professional goal that you're working towards right now.
Man, I'm like not great at personal goal setting. Like we have goals for the agency, and like all of our clients tend to have goals. Personally, I think I was back to the whole like serendipity and luck thing that we started with. I think I got lucky in the sense that like I got into like health and wellness in high school, and like it just became a habit of something that I do. So like working out every day is not a question for me. It's just like I wake up and I go for a run, or I go in the basement and do some pull-ups or whatever. So like I like, we always, my wife recently got into, running kind of with me. She's faster than me, which is, it is what it is. But like, we just try to do a half marathon or 2 a year. Right. So like, we'll just do some kind of running event. So I like honestly don't have a ton of professional or personal goals other than just like, I want to stay relatively fit. I want to be able to do things maybe that are like above average fitness wise, like run a certain speed or lift certain weights. But like, I just don't set crazy goals like that. Personally. Yeah.
It's so funny. You're like, my wife is faster than me. It's like, okay, I've only been running for more than half my life. Like, It's fine.
Dude,
She's faster than me. All
it's
right,
so
cool.
it's so bad. It's so bad. We did a half marathon earlier this year, and like
Yeah.
I had to stop for a restroom break really quick in the middle, and I'm trying to catch up with her, which was a horrible mistake. So like we got like 3-4 miles left, and I'm just gassed, and like my hip flexors could not carry me home. So it was brutal.
You ever take those gel packs with you? You know,
Oh
how
yeah,
people have those hits of like the electric. I heard they're horrible. Like they taste disgusting.
man.
Though. But
Okay, my friend put me on to, I don't know how to say the name, but it's like Maruten or something. It's a black brand. It's a sick brand. It's actually a really cool brand. They're great. They have like some patented technology that makes them really good. But
figured
yeah,
it out. They
you can
figured
also
it
bring
out.
some candy with you. A little sleeper note. You can just bring some Sour Patch Kids. We have a client called Sour Strips. Sometimes I'll pack those in a Ziploc bag and just take those with me. So that also
I
works.
love that. I love that. There's so many people who have like the healthy routes, and then I have some of my friends who are like, "Yo, I just bring a white Monster with me. It's in the
Dude.
background, like just crank and go."
Absolutely.
So that part kills me. But no, on the goal front, in all honesty, like I often find that like really intense goal setting can stress me out. Like it creates stress in my brain. I'm like, holy shit, I should have one. Like, what am I working towards? But then I kind of realized like one foot in front of the other. I have to live every day. And how do I live a happy life that I find fulfilling and enjoying every day?
Totally.
So I was showing Rahul this, but like I showed him one sticky, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have like, hey, don't forget to stretch, buddy.
I got you.
Don't forget to stand and walk.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
And I even have one like, hey, because I have a work addiction. It's self-diagnosed. It's because I enjoy it so much. But I have to write like eat, show my wife love, like all those kind of things, and like make sure I'm doing it. And that's like my version of daily goal. Make sure I'm living that every single day. So I'm with you. I'm with you, man.
Yeah. If I had something similar, I'd love that. But like I'm similar. Like I could go an entire day of like not getting up from my desk. I'm like, I'm really hungry. And I think I've done a better job like in the last couple of years, like realizing when something is off or like something either in my personal life is just like not connecting. Like I went through a stretch where I was like, I lost 10 pounds and I wasn't eating because I was just like so focused on the thing in front of me, which is like cool for a season, but like it's probably not good long term. And so maybe I don't have like direct goals in that way, but I think I just gotta get better about recognizing when things are in balance or off balance in whatever however you define balance. Cause I think for you and me, like our baseline of work balance is maybe different than the average person. And that's cool. Like whatever works for you. For
sure. Yeah, that's such an interesting point of being able to like recognize when something's off. Like, it actually got me thinking about when I was talking to Andrew last week. But I have a personal trainer now. Like that's what I needed to force me into the gym, or else I was not going.
That's awesome.
And something that they talk about quite a bit is the idea of like neuromuscular connection. So it's like your brain connected to different areas of your body. Yeah. And for the longest time ever, I sucked. Like I'd be like, I think I'm sick. He's like, okay, like what do you feel? I don't know. And it's like, wait a second, that's not good. I should know why. It's like, where do I feel sick? Is it in my head? Am I congested? Like what's going on?
That's so interesting.
I'm actively trying to like connect my mind to my body better for what you had described there and how important that process is.
Yeah. I wonder if that like mind muscle connection thing just like helps you think through that. Cause like when you're working out, it's like, if you feel it in your chest, or maybe you learn to feel it in your chest because somebody's telling you and they're touching it as you're doing the push-up or whatever it is. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. Super interesting, man. Like I can't point my toes well. I'm sharing a lot about myself apparently, but like I can't point my toes well. And I've realized it's like, I can't really feel my foot all that well. Is it a circulation problem or am I just not paying attention well?
Dude, I can move my big toe on my right foot, but my left foot, like I can't spread it. So I don't know, like something's going on there. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Oh man, Brett, you've been so generous with your time. I have one final question that I ask all of the guests who come on. If you don't have one immediately, all good. Throw it back to me and you can think of one. My question is, do you have a favorite quote? And if so, what is it and why?
Yeah, well, so my Post-it notes are actually like mostly quotes. And so I'm a little cheesy in that way. So I'm gonna give you more than one because I've got a couple. On my back, I have tattooed across the top, give the world the best that you have and the best will come back to you. So karma, whatever, however you want to think through that. I just like to think that just trying to be the best version of yourself and best person is generally a good thing to do. My pink sticky note is tattoo ideas. So I'm trying to think of what I want to do for my leg sleeve. So there's a bunch of like random kind of quotes on here. So I'll give you two more. One is not really a quote. It's more this like idea that I've been noodling on over the last couple of months, which is like the concept of interest leads into like passion leads into obsession, and obsession can lead into delusion, right? Because like they're all kind of like fine lines between each other. And so something about that has just like been very interesting to me. And I think where that came from is a quote from Tim Grover, who used to be like Kobe Bryant's trainer. And he said, interested people watch obsessed people change the world. And I think like obsession just sounds like this terrible thing. But I think I don't know, like, I think it's cool to be obsessed with something for a while. And I love talking with people like you who are obsessed with something, because you just like the conversations you can have. Like, I don't really care what it is, but like when you see somebody get really pumped about whatever they're excited about, it's so easy to talk to that person for hours.
It's infectious. It's infectious.
Yeah, totally.
Man, I love it. How many tats do you have right now? You trying to do the whole body?
I've got the arm sleeve. Okay. I've got my chest done. I've got my ribs, most of my top of my back. The problem right now is getting my wife to be down with the next round. I would love to do a leg. I would love to do hands, at least this hand, but I don't think that's probably ever going to fly. I don't know, man. It's been a while since I've done anything, but I'm a fan. So
yeah, well, now you have the bug. Like, as soon as you get a couple, like, and you have what you have more than a couple, it's like there's no way you can stop at that point. You're just like, all right,
it's hard.
It's not gonna fly, but damn, I'm gonna make it fly. Like, we're gonna make this work.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Brad, I appreciate you, man. This has been such a wonderful conversation. I'm wondering if you have any final words to leave with our audience.
No, man, you're an awesome dude. I appreciate you doing this with so many people. I think it's I think a lot of the content out there is like very tactical stuff, and like I enjoy that stuff, but like it's cool to see the humans behind all of the tactics, and I think you're doing a killer job like showing that to the D2C community, because we need more human beings and like who the people are. So no, you're doing a great job, and I appreciate you considering me for this, and it was awesome to be here.
Most definitely, man. No one comes and plugs themselves. I gotta plug you guys, man. Jesus.
I've got nothing to plug. I'm just here for a good time.
I'm here for the vibes. Everybody, exactly. You got to go tap in with Brad, okay? So check him out on X, check him out on Twitter. Got to make sure you tap in. This guy's an absolute killer. You can check the podcast out as well. And then if you need help with your marketing, check him out. Work marketing. This is what's going to be. Tap in, all right?
Appreciate you, dude.
No one ever freaking shares this stuff. You guys got to put on the business. But no, I appreciate the words. Yeah, it's really... I feel like on D2C X and Twitter, it can be so toxic at times, and people are like, oh man, I need to like desensitize myself, or like take a step back from what this is. And I'm like, if we all knew who we were at the end of the day, it would never feel like that. It'd be like, oh, we know this person just putting it out there for engagement. Let's figure it out. Right. Yeah. So I'm happy too. People are open and willing and vulnerable enough to share these different pieces too. So like, that makes me really happy. Really happy.
You're killing it, man. It's awesome.
Appreciate you. All right, Brad. We'll catch up soon, man. We'll catch up real soon, but I've appreciated our time. I'll talk to you soon.
For sure, man. Have a good rest of the day. Later.
Peace. Later. Oh, man. Everybody. These conversations like this, like, ultimately fire me up. Like when Brad talks about infectious conversation and the obsession piece, like I really enjoy the one-to-one conversation where you really get to know somebody. And it's so cool that I can actually give a peek behind the curtain into how these people are wired, right? Because Brad is an amazing marketer. He will produce great results for brands. He has spent X amount of dollars and made so many more millions for different brands, right? But that story is just like super insane. Like if you're a young person watching this, step into that first interview with the way that life tells you to go. And if you don't like it, don't be afraid to say, this is not for me. Let me try something else. So hearing Brad like immediately be so in tune with what he wants and what he's actually going to make him happy was something that I found pretty inspiring in this whole conversation. And then from the actual agency side of things, like we've talked about it with both guests today, but building out an agency is not easy. Like there's a lot of work that goes into it that's so reliant on the people involved. Now, what both guests today have described is the idea of like you want people who are already great at the job. They need a strong technical skill, but then the cultural fit is equally as important. And what I challenge a lot of you all to do is to diagnose where you are at in your business. If you're a small team, like let's say sub 5 people, you for sure need a killer to jump in and just carry you, right? It's just like, okay, you can handle your clients. I know you're going to do a great job and go do your thing. But if you're a little bit bigger of a team and you have some breathing room, I will say, Investing in that next crop and the next generation of people coming through will be able to allow you to get the best people early and then shape them to your business, and they scale with you forever. So I think that balance and what Brad had mentioned in the second conversation is what he's achieving, of like enough experience and enough cultural fit to make it happen. So everybody, this has been a blast. The last plug that I will say here is, again, if you're not tuned in, stay tuned in. Where you can find us is on X at ThumbstopLive, at ThumbstopLive. We are live streaming every Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. ET to 1 p.m. ET. And I'm bringing people you know and love to this show. Live streaming across LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and of course, X, aka Twitter here. I am always looking for guests. So if you have anybody in mind who you think would be a great guest, DM me or just hit me somewhere. I'm kind of everywhere at this point. Just hit me up so I can get them on here. But this has been a blast, y'all. I appreciate it. And we're going to let's go make this happen even more. Y'all enjoy your weekends. I'm going to tap in with you on Monday.